drum brakes in situation in the middle of the freaking street. Takes a brave one, but I got you covered. Man, Willie here on a beautiful, idyllic Monday in a pretty little neighborhood. And today's job, we're going to put drum brakes on the back of this Sienna. So this was all selected for quick shipping so we could get it done in time without paying $100 in shipping, and it is of quality. DuraGo Rotors, our drums, I've been happy with how they come out. They're actually milled on the side instead of just straight cast. That'll be nice. Got Bosch brake shoes. Got dynamic friction wheel cylinders. Parking brake kit by Carlson for both sides. And I forget where the spring kit came from, but it really doesn't matter. I just need a spring kit. So, this one made some crunchy, hunchy noises on the back. It's probably not been serviced on them rear brakes in a long time. Next step is to get it up in the air and see what we have here. But, little luck, I'm generally pretty good at these damn things. I'm hopeful for a reasonably quick service. Let's see how that goes. Alright, we have successfully unearthed Tut's tomb here. And I've taken a few pictures of the guide because there's a little bit of extra bullshit going on that I'm not fully used to on this setup. But it's all the same shit. That rotor was that drum was very seized to that hub. It was no fun to get off. One wheel stud decided to die on the way out. I'll recommend a wheel hub assembly, but 4 out of 5 won't be bad this afternoon. Up next, I just take down my hanger springs and get this shit going. There's a lot to this one though. I'm gonna have to really stare its ass down. Let me brush things off, get them cleaned up so I can see what the hell's actually going on here before I pull anything apart. So far, all this has gone down relatively not bad. I figured out how the engineers made the damn thing by just reverse engineering it as I took it apart. So my next step is to bleed it out and to set my preload to get my drum on there. But so far so good. Sketchy old nasty dusty off. New pretty shiny on. Just got to get it dialed in and correct. Looks right to me. Only goes together one way. That's what I always think anyhow. Anyway, there's that portion. Let's get the rest done. It takes forever, no doubt about it. But we got side 2 taken down. We got the scabby old drum off of there. Boy, there's a ridge in that. Yeah, I believe it was time to do these. Of course, it ain't pissing out everywhere, so how can I complain? Taking some pictures of how my springs all arranged in here. Got my preload set good on the other side. Got questions about that, if that would cause interference with that. That would. Them adjusters don't fucking move anyway. Let's take this apart and get it right for them. That's the plan. Old crap. Preload feels good on the other side. I won't fully know until I got this side done and have the parking brake and feel what a real parking brake feels like on this. I may have to dial it in another click on the other side. Anywho, looks like old scabby shit to me. Let's get it off. Exciting adventure is almost over and I'm ready to call Monday in the books myself. Got all this crabby, stuffy stuff done. Preload is set. Brakes are bled out. Everything's tight. Everything's marked. Believe we got ourselves a good one here. I think I'm going to put one more lick of preload on the other wheel just from underneath if I can. Once I get this wheel back on. As you can see how I like to set that where I just about can't spin the damn thing. That's just about right is the answer. Anyway, sadly this will turn brown pretty fast, but I do like how the outside of it is milled. It's a nice piece. This is a good DuraGo drum. I sure do like them for the price point at least. They never let me down when I'm looking for an economy brake job. So, next step is to put the wheel back on this one, take it for a little spin right around the neighborhood here, make sure I have brakes, assess my parking brake, and then we'll do just a tiny little dial in on that one if it's necessary. May not be. We'll find out. Let's get it all together and get out of the street here. I'm sure people have been having lots of fun driving around me today. Anyway, drum brakes in situation in the middle of the frickin' street. Takes a brave one, but I got you covered. Sometimes it just takes extra time to make my dime, but we got this one good to go. As you can see here, all the old trashed brakes off of there. She was ready to leak, but hadn't started leaking yet. Got preload set on both rear wheels. Feeling great. Brake pedal feels excellent. Parking brake actually functions. It's a little left to be desired on the preload, but you know what? Shaving hairs. I'll come see that a later day. It's tight, and we have a functioning parking brake, and we did not before. And I say, I split hairs with this shit. It'll hold itself against the parking brake in neutral, and you have to raise it to 1400 RPMs before it starts dragging it. That's a functioning parking brake on a vehicle of this size. And I might still have some oils on the inside of the new drum. In any event, smooth, quiet operation. Of course, it'll get quieter as it goes down the road. We bled out all kinds of nasty fluid, so she's a happy van. Time for me to tell the customer it's all done. Show them to check their brake fluid level, which is critical. After I do brakes on something this old, you gotta watch that for the next 2 days. After that, just forget all about it. But that service appears to be complete, and I'm ready to clean up my crap and head to the house. Alright everybody, thanks for watching as usual. Don't do drum brakes in the street, it's dangerous. Howdy everybody, it is a beautiful cloudless sky on a Monday evening here in beautiful Eugene, Oregon. And today, we are back with the Toyota Sienna. So in a previous episode, y'all may remember that I did a complete set of drum brakes on this vehicle, and all that is rocking, good to go, and happy. No complaints there. After a long road trip across the Rockies, they noted that they're starting to get shake from the front brakes, which means we got some piss poor rotors on this thing somewhere. So today, we're going to complete the rest of the brake work on the vehicle. Today's service will be featuring our Bendix Priority 1 Ultra Premium brake pad sets. These are 100% copper-free formulation, like I like to use. As you can see, we have our advanced multi-layer shim that is both adhered and crimped to the back of the pad, so it won't be moving around. It's got that nice texture to it. On the front side, you can see that she's chamfered. Oh, there's one big rock of something in that cake mix. These have been great for me so far. Comes with a complete set of hardware. Very nice there. Happy. Comes with caliper snot. Very happy about that. Also comes with a nice hang tag, instructing my customer how to deal with their new brakes and, you know, make sure they get the maximum performance out of them. For the rotor side, we're going with DuraGo Premium Electrophoretic brake rotors, which this is think of it like a galvanized coating, but with an epoxy. It's on all of the non-machine surfaces of the rotor. This is the maximum corrosion protection product that I offer. Excellent value on these. Been real happy so far. Just needs a quick shot of the brake clean to clean that up. So between the two, this should be a relatively simple and straightforward brake service. I'm looking forward to rendering it quick, getting pegged, getting home, and making this vehicle very happy. Not much to it, especially compared to the drum job. Let's get it apart. We never know what surprises we might find. First thing, loosen the wheel nuts, get it up in the air, get it ready to go. Also, we'll be working in the street today, so limited video, but you know, not too much to go over on this. We got to get not run over. Alright folks, let's get the job underway. Okay, now that we've got the wheel taken down and off the vehicle, we can see what we got here. So, rotor don't look that old. There's not too much for our, we'll take that back. Rotor looks pretty old and like it's been hot before, for sure. There's not a hell of a lot of groove in it. Similar story, the brake pads are a CarQuest brand. There's still certainly meat left on the bone on this front part. Then again, I might find a totally different situation on the other side of the vehicle. It's already broke loose from that, as you can see, and it looks like our caliper still has some movement. So we're going to go over this. We're going to replace all this ugly stuff. I mean, it could be worse, but it's going to be a whole lot better. Again, I don't really see my warp marks on this one yet, but we'll get a better investigation here in a minute. Let's get started. So we got a little stand here for a caliper. I'll stick that where my hand's not going to bust it. Got my 14mm wrench. We're going to go ahead and take down those calipers. So, top one. I've been in here before recently. Ish. Oh, and let's talk to them about that. You know, we got some more repairs to do right there. Hang on just a second, we'll talk to them about that. Let's get some video of that. So it looks like to me, we got possibly a rack leak, but what we for sure have is a tie rod end that's been exposed and compromised to moisture with a busted boot. So I'm going to recommend at least an inner tie rod end for this vehicle based upon that inspection. Not a hell of a lot of play in it, thank goodness. But that's kind of ugly. Looks like my work never ends on that. I'll go back over here. Now that I got both my bolts out, this should be a simple matter of popping this caliper off. She will come right to me. See nothing terribly wrong with that. Set it on my little stand right there. So, old pads. FF friction coefficient. Nothing terrible about them pads. Oh, there's more of a ridge on the inside. See, things will lie to you a little bit sometimes. See, telltale mark. Yeah, that's probably pretty noisy. Up next is the bracket. I'll take that down in a moment. Let me go grab another tool. Alright, next step is to get this caliper bracket off. We've got our rotor set safely to the side on our stand. So we're just going to bust this loose. 17 millimeters. And that could have been on there tighter. Folks, that may be why we're having brake problems. I don't know. Whenever, that should have been harder than that turn in my summation. All I'll say is they're going to have good brakes after this. Yeah, see that? That's not enough. That's not enough tension on this caliper bracket. That might be, well, let's put new parts on it like it deserves. I could have got away with some of the old parts here, but forget all that. Let's make this thing nice. Still, that speaks to recipe for problems. There's your bracket off. There's your rotor off. Notice I didn't have to do any pressing on that. Is a ridge on the inside here, but anyway, come off pretty good and easy. As you see here, I went ahead and got my caliper cleaned up a little bit with my wire brush. Went ahead and matched my hardware to what's supposed to be here and got that installed. And my next step is to clean up these caliper slide pins just a little bit. Clean them up, re-grease them. So these are moving okay. That's good. Let's pop them loose one at a time. Release it from that boot. That old boot will release. Acts like it wants to tear. In fact, it might. In fact, it did. Oh, old stuff. It'll be alright. Grab that right there. Pull that out. Somebody's been in here somewhat recently. And they've been greased before. I don't like that little cut in there at all. Poop. Don't like that. Old stuff. Oh well. I believe I can get them boots for like $1. We'll have them stop back by and that'll be a no-charge fix. So what I like to do is clean up my pin, then dip it back in. Give it a good old reaming. Use it to remove its own old compromised grease. I ain't got to get every last bit of it. This is still functioning. I want it clean. Alright, starting to feel the sides now. So what I do, came with my little organic green snot pack. Just take that, dip that right down in there. Oh yeah. Delicious and nutritious. We're going to try to get most of it inside the hole. We'll wad it up on the head if need be. Pretty greasy. Let's give it just a little more grease. Yepper. And again, not a fan of the busted boot whatsoever. But you get it live here at Jenkins Performance. Hearing this one come out without much problem. This one's going to have the little rubber stopper at the end. Again, same deal. Pull her out, wipe her off. Again, we'll have another opportunity to fix that boot because I'm going to be doing a tie rod end on this. So we'll have the wheel back off. Turn it in there, plunge it back and forth a few times, get out the old grease. Now, if the old thing's stuck, you got to work a lot harder on that. But if the grease you got in there is still greasy and things move, then we ain't got to get every last bit of it out. We just want good grease in there, like this. And sometimes you have to, if your boot's not torn, kind of peel it back, push in so that we don't get hydraulic piston action there. So now that that's done, and we've wiped that off, and we've brushed that off, time to shoot it with some brake clean. Alright, and when that dries off, that caliper bracket will be ready to put back on. Now we're going to spend a little bit of time cleaning up our ears. Just going to dust down the backing plate. Not going to do much with that, as it looks like they wheeled that pretty good. We're going to get it installed up. Just a little more cleanup to do first. Alright folks, just like that, all our surfaces are cleaned up enough to install the brake rotor. As you see, I've gone over things with the brush, got the dust loose from things, polished up this surface a little bit. We got our caliper bracket down here ready to go. But up next is to install the rotor. Now with these, like any new rotor, make sure you spray it down real good with brake cleaner and clean this bad boy up before you install it, because there's machine oil all over the bad boys. And to keep things straight while I'm working on it, I like to go ahead and put a lug nut or two on the vehicle just to hold that rotor in a proper position for when I'm pumping up the brake system. Now we will get another spit of brake clean at the end of the service, so don't worry about that. And again, these are just spun on, but the idea is just to make sure my surface is flat. After that, it's a relatively simple matter of installing this brake caliper bracket. You see I got it all cleaned up looking nice. Let's go ahead and put that in position. Yep, just like that. We're going to hand spin in our 2 bolts, get them started. Always easier said than done. Not too much to that. There's one on. There's 2 on. We're going to go ahead and tighten them up real good. Yeah, 17 millimeter. Something about getting them both snug and get them both tight. Tighter than I found them, preferably. Okay, let's make darn sure. One more little tug. Alright, it's nice and tight like we want it. Up next is to install my pads. Okay, one thing I noticed is my predecessor did not install pad wear indicators on the previous brake pads. So, I have to logic my way through where they go. So, this caliper bolts to the front side of the rotor. So that means that normally your pad wear indicator would be on the top, since it's on the front side of the rotor, on the inboard pad. I have 4 wear indicators, so we're going to use all 4. We're going to do them both on the top, and we're going to install these pads. So, real easy to stick those in there. You can see my wear indicators at the top. So that is the leading edge of the brake pad. And as you can see how I've got it arranged there properly, just in case you had any questions for how that goes. But again, consult your brake set for that. And on a lot of them, you can get away with sticking it anywhere, okay? On some of them, you won't get it back together unless you do it exactly as they thought. But that's pad wear indicators on. This is almost ready to go. Up next, I need to service my caliper, get it all cleaned up and brushed up and pushed in. Next step is to get this caliper piston installed. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and got my tool in there. I'm being very careful with the placement of my caliper to not piss off this hose and to not warp up that backing plate. I've got the reservoir cap off of the brake master cylinder, and I have a rag wrapped around that neck, so if we have any overfluid situation, it won't be a problem. So let's just spin that bad boy in slowly and easily. Folks, if you don't have the awesome tool, go buy the awesome tool. That's only like $25 on eBay. And boy, oh boy, it sure is nice to have a professional setup like that and not have to use any of the hokey crap. Hokey crap is unnecessary here. So that's that. Freed from itself, maybe. I'll have to back it off a little more. Back it off a little more. Back it off a little more. Come out of there, you fool. Alright. I've already done a little bit to clean things up here. But now that we got it fully retracted, we can get a little more aggressive. And I just want dust and debris. I use a plastic brush only on that caliper seal. We go around it and I don't feel any mushiness in it telling me that we have a leaking caliper. So that's pretty good. Already done a little cleanup, like I say. Gonna do a little bit more here. I ain't trying to make it brand new. It's 20 years old. I'm trying to make it stop quiet and look good like I was here. So that's all dusted off. I'm going to spray out the inside of that with brake clean. And I spent special attention with my wire brush on these surfaces where the pad mates. That's the real business end. The rest is just bonus. So that's sprayed down. I'm going to let that evaporate and drip for just a second. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Nice and volatile. Be off of there in no time. So just like that. It's time to install the caliper onto the bracket. Pay special attention to your brake line. Do not pigtail that bad boy. It's pretty hard to do to twist it on this one in this position, but it's easy to do on enough Toyotas that you should pay attention. So that's just slipped right into place. Got one little 14 millimeters here. Go ahead and get one finger started. Spin that in. Get my other one. Again, I already cleaned them up nice. Get that spun in. Spin that in, spin that in. Yep, that's good, that's good. These are 14 millimeter on this application. Don't be scared. Don't murder them either. Now, on some of them, you have to hold the center portion still with a wrench. Thankfully, this time it's cooperating, so not so much. And again, you want that pretty damn tight and wrench tight as I can get it. Yep, that's good there. Spend just another minute cleaning off just a little bit of this for our final clean down. Yeah, that looked like a totally different animal. Not looking to make it clean enough to eat. Go ahead and give it the hose down. Alright. Once that dries, I'm going to reinstall the cap back on my master cylinder. And I'm going to pump up these brakes. Everything's ready for me to pump this up, and you'll get to see my pump up action in real time. Now we got me. Good pedal now. All right. So if we walk up to this and it's tight, oh, it is like it should be. Did good. Now it's just a quick matter to make sure, check our tightness and to mark it up. Do I have my marking pen? Do I have it handy? I may or may not. I'll go get that. No job done without it. Now it's time for my favorite part of any brake job. So I'm going to go back over it, make sure it's good. So, 17 millimeter caliper bolt is tight. And since it's tight, it will now be marked and not a moment before. Bottom, same deal. Get wrench on. I already know this is tight, but I'm proving it to myself. She's tight. Ain't no problem there, Cheddar. All right, similar deal with these top bolts. Remember, when you're doing brake jobs, especially just pad slaps, yeah, it's simple. If you fuck up, people die. Tight, mark it. This one, tight, mark it. Double check everything you do every time. And then you get to be cool like me and sign it. So I like to sign it right on the upper hat. WJ 6 of 24. And this one has steel wheels and hubcaps, so I can get real froggy. That's WJ 6 of 24. And we'll mark the pads themselves. WJ 6 24. That is marked. That is marked. Happy Bendix brake job set. Just got to do the same thing on the other side. Not going to film that unless something jumps out and is different and needs to be known. But that's one corner done. Rinse, repeat on the other side. Much quicker without the camera running. The art of brakes. Brake job's all done and we're about to prove the load out. But the last thing I do is inspect my brake fluid level. This time it was topped off as before with thinner pads, so when compressed it come all the way up. I daubed some out. We're going to recheck that again after our test drive. But everything's nice and clean. Everything's good to go. I expect nothing but happy out of this. I have some notes taken on some other services that need to be done. But all in all, I'm happy with what we got. Band's still holding coolant from a previous repair. That's good. Rear brakes were done excellent. Front brakes are done good. I see no problems with my calipers. I got some minor issues with caliper slide pins and boots on both sides. Nothing hard to deal with, and it looks like we're going to be putting tie rod ends, if not a rack, in this vehicle. We'll come up with a solution for that. So we'll have time to get there. Either way, let's go drop the hood on it and make sure. Now, remember your dance. Check stick, fill cap, tight. Brakes, tight. Power steering, tight. Window wash, coolant, recovery caps, tight. Air filter housing secure. Transmission check stick in and tight. That's the magic dance that saves you money. Let's go test drive it.